I'm Alex Morash, and this is a big LGBTQ story. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Chris Caputo becomes Wilton Manors vice mayor. Wilton Manors' political landscape saw a historic moment recently when Mayor Scott Newton and Commissioners Mike Brocky and Chris Caputo were sworn into their new terms. Caputo was elected as the vice mayor, succeeding Brocky. In a celebratory Facebook post, Caputo announced, quote, "I have the honor of announcing that I will be serving my second term as your city commissioner from 2024 to 2028, end quote. This post reveals his priorities while in office, which included enhancing infrastructure, improving residents' quality of life, promoting Wilton Manors as a premier LGBTQ destination, and the fully developing of the Avenue. LGBTQ ally Newton was re-elected mayor, and the entire Wilton Manors Commission are members of the LGBTQ community, including Caputo as the new vice mayor. And, I want to congratulate all of them. Brocky and Caputo had a really, really hard race running unopposed, so it's great to see that they're able to get there. But in all seriousness, seriously, Caputo, congratulations on becoming vice mayor. I guess my thing would be to give a little bit of advice, which is when, I think he just, Mr. Caputo, to get a little bit more media literacy, because we did a show a few months ago, and he sent me a very long Facebook message about it that started with, I hope this email finds you well. And I just want to start with, learn a little bit more about media, Mr. Caputo, and I think you'll do great.
I see, on the drive, you cannot escape our city commission. There's one thing good about Wilton Manors is that our local politicians are local and they are instantly accessible. You want to see Don? You see Don. You want to see Chris Caputo? You see Chris Caputo. They are not going anywhere.
Mayor Newton gave us parking advice one day.
Yeah.
Weren't you with him that day?
Yeah, I remember.
What was the advice?
Oh, he was trying to
park here.
Basically telling us, I think something changes at 6 o'clock, but we were going to be on by that point. But it was nice that he gave us the heads up.
So, two questions. What is the Avenue? I don't know what the Avenue
I
is.
think he's talking about Andrews Ave, which... Am I wrong in that?
Probably.
That's just a question.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe he's changing Drive to Avenue. I thought of Wilton Drive, but I don't know.
Okay.
It could be.
And then
An example of
I don't
media
know.
literacy.
Yeah.
Didn't use terms that people don't know.
Andrews,
It could mean Andrews Avenue.
Andrews Avenue have been under consideration for redevelopment for quite some time. If you drive up and down Andrews Avenue, first of all, we live right near it. Alex and I both live in the same complex, and we live right near it.
Are there LGBTQ businesses?
They're fairly few, and actually mostly just residential. But the problem is that it's the speed limit is quite high, and the road is too wide, and there are not enough, for example, crosswalks and where people can cross. It's not exactly the most walkable part of Wilton. So either you're on one side,
right.
Yeah, maybe he means that.
But is being the vice mayor, is that like the next step? Like he wants to be the mayor, or is that when somebody?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I would imagine.
But when somebody had that position, but they
in the pecking order, is it mayor
right.
and then vice mayor?
Right. Is that the next step? Like he would like to someday
I think
be?
so.
I read an I don't think Newton wants to run again. I think he wanted to finish up. So that's you're on to something where I could see someone wanting to do that.
Okay.
Newton inherited from the late mayor, and then he got reelected, and then now I think he's ready to hand off. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Chris is in essentially trying to be the next mayor.
Yeah, I would say you should ask him. That's one of those things.
Yeah, Chris, let's chat. Let's come on the W, boys. We'll talk.
The only last serious issue out there that with the Andrews Ave, the two most affordable apartment complexes are on that street. So if you try to develop that street, you might price out the residents there. And as one of those residents, I'll be very opinionated more in meetings if that's going. But
we'll find out if he was mentioning the Drive or Andrews. We'll get back. That we'll definitely come back to.
And that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other LGBTQ nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing.